If you think that your child might be neurodivergent, or if they already have a neurodivergent diagnosis, you're probably working with their school to make sure that there are plenty of accommodations in place to help your child not just survive, but to thrive at school. One of the difficulties might be actually knowing what kinds of accommodations to ask for beyond the norm of ear defenders or a teaching assistant to support. So here are 13 accommodations you might not have thought of asking the school for. Primary school edition. Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and I am neurodivergent myself, and I have 2 wonderful neurodivergent children. In this video I'm going to run through 13 accommodations that you might not have thought of that school could put in place that could really help your child to do well. The first accommodation is to allow your child to go in and or to leave school at a different time. Maybe that's a few minutes early or a few minutes late, to avoid crowds and all of the stress and anxiety that might go along with that. Another great accommodation is to ask for your child to be allowed to have uniform exemptions or adjustments so that they're able to wear clothes that are comfortable and safe for them, and they're not constantly distracted by ill-fitting clothes, uncomfortable textures and so on. You could also ask your school to make sure that there is regular communication with you, the parent or guardian of your child. Many neurodivergent children will be absolutely exhausted by the end of the school day and not in a fit state to communicate anything useful. So having the school make sure that there is constant contact between school and home, letting you know about not just academics and behaviour, but all sorts of other things that have happened during the day, can really help you to support your child at home and talk through any things that might be going on at school for them. In the classroom particularly, you can ask for your child to be given visual and written instructions for any tasks. Visual calendars are also great to let your child know what's going to happen during the day, but particularly for any sort of tasks, anything that they're expected to do in the classroom, make sure it's written down or is presented in a visual format. You can also ask the school to allow your child to be able to choose their seating within the classroom. So they should be allowed to choose seating that makes them feel safe and comfortable within the classroom. This could be at the front of the class, at the back of the class, maybe next to a doorway. It's going to depend on the child and the classroom and all of the specific and various different sensory things that might be going on there, including, lighting, ventilation, all sorts of different things, but making sure that the child has the opportunity to choose the seating that really suits them best. Ideally, the seating should also allow them to be able to move around as needed. Many neurodivergent children need to be able to move regularly throughout the day to be able to regulate themselves, and so if they're seated somewhere that allows them to stand up and move around if necessary, that's great. If not, it could just be something like being able to sit on a wobble board in their chair. This is rather a tricky one, as it can be a difficult one to broach with the child's teacher or teachers, but making sure that any shouting or telling off by the teacher is kept to an absolute minimum in the classroom can be really, really helpful for our neurodivergent children. Many of them won't be able to distinguish between a teacher getting cross with the class as a whole or with a group of children within the class and getting cross with them specifically. And they will get very anxious, very upset if they feel that they're being shouted at, they're being yelled at, even if that's not actually the case. Another accommodation that's really useful is making sure that your child's teachers know not to force your child to participate in group work and not to force them to answer questions or read aloud in class. These are incredibly stressful things for neurodivergent children. Working in a group is massively difficult. I mean, neurotypical people often find it difficult. Neurodivergent children who struggle with social communication really find this hugely overwhelming. And on top of that, then being able to, or being asked to complete tasks, academic tasks, it's just too much in many cases. So make sure that the teacher knows that your child can volunteer to participate in groups, volunteer to give answers or to read out loud, but should not be forced to do so. During break time and lunchtime, your child could benefit from a quiet, safe place to be able to eat their lunch or just to hang out or chill out. Loud, crowded dining halls or canteens and loud, crowded playgrounds can be hugely overwhelming for our neurodivergent children, and they often need some time and space to decompress and relax during the school day in order to be able to continue to keep it all together. So ask for them to be provided with somewhere that's safe and quiet to go. Also during break times, playground support can be really crucial. So ask for there to be a TA, a key person that knows your child, that your child knows and trusts, who they can go to if there are any difficulties, and who might be able to guide and provide some extra scaffolding for social communications during playtime. You can also ask for your child to be exempt from homework. Many neurodivergent children expend a huge amount of energy just getting through the school day and have little to none left in the evenings when they get home. You can also ask for your child to be given a timeout card or a discrete signal that they can use during classes to ask for a timeout if things get too overwhelming for them. In my experience, many children will feel quite self-conscious about using this though, so you might need to also make sure that there is plenty of support there for them to use this and that they're given lots of encouragement and opportunities to be able to use it discreetly. Another really useful support is to ask for your child to be given model answers or examples of what's expected of them. Many neurodivergent children struggle to understand what is actually being asked for in a task. So making sure that you're providing some model answer or an example for them to work from so that they know exactly what they're trying to produce, what sort of level of work is expected of them. One more accommodation that could be asked for is for the school to ensure that there is whole school neurodiversity awareness. This might entail them bringing in experts to talk about neurodiversity, inclusivity, and particularly putting an emphasis on neurodiversity as a difference rather than a deficit. This training and education should be available to staff, teachers, and students throughout the school. Your child will not be the only one who is neurodivergent within the school, and so it makes sense for the school to spend time ensuring that everybody is educated about neurodiversity and how to be inclusive. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.